Yeah, we are. Hello, weary travelers, and welcome to the Come and Go Tavern. My name is Sheela Ornthalis, and I'll be your hostess this afternoon. Today's kitchen special is chicken with mashed potatoes and veggies. I prefer the broccoli with maybe a couple of sprigs of asparagus, but I'm sure we can hook you up with whatever veggies you like. And it looks like Rebecca is currently available for a full-service package, if you know what I mean. But if you see anything or anyone else on the menu that you're interested in, just let me know and we'll see what we can do. Today we are returning to Hytale for the second time. I did a bit of work after the last stream because I find it really hard to put block games down once I've picked them up, but there's still plenty to do. The first project that I'm going to be focused on is getting the roof up onto the parapets, but after that, who knows where the day will go, you know? As always, I'll also be available for comments, questions, and concerns about the tavern, as well as regular old conversation, so don't be afraid to fill that chat with discussion. So yeah, without any further ado, let's head on over to the game, shall we? Hello, Mistborn! How are you doing today? I see you out there, Skeleman. Let's see. Oh, thank you very much for the coin toss. Let's see. I've also learned my lesson about having music just going at the start of these streams. Because there is definitely background music in the game, but it's not as dense as I would necessarily like it to be. Got work today with it warming up. There might be more customers for the deli. Nice. Here's hoping. Because even if your job's not in danger or anything because of lack of customers, it's just boring standing around doing nothing all day. But you can't start doing anything more interesting because otherwise there will be customers that show up at the very last minute. And then you look like an asshole for being on your phone or something, you know? Should I try to sleep? I probably should try to sleep just to reset it to daytime since I'm building outdoors. Let's see what we can do. Oh, am I in the corner? Oh, well. I straight up can't see anything right now. Yeah, we'll go ahead and go to bed. Speaking of games that I absolutely loved, Chroma Squad is truly amazing. A good tactics game, a good look at... You may start sleeping at 7... Oh, okay, there we go. Let's see, a good tactics game that covers Sentai, Rider, Metal Heroes, all of those fun things, depending on the ending that you choose. Great music. I do wish that the devs would do a patch for the... Oh, goodness gracious. The Cosplay Club game that they made as a semi-sequel. It's not really a sequel, but it's related. Because we sure did get soft-locked in that game for no reason other than a bug. And I fully understand that they're focused on their next project right now. And then that apparently Chroma Squad is in the works for after that. But like, I sure would like to finish that game, you know? But I don't know. Oh, I forgot that we would have to wait for people. We rest. This was so much easier when we were working underground and I didn't have to worry about, you know, sunlight or anything like that. Even though it's not a TTRPG Tuesday, I have spent the morning thinking about TTRPGs because I was hanging out in Farmer Goddess stream earlier, and it just great thoughts going on about TTRPGs in general. But even though like the focus was on the Neopets project, which I am not qualified to speak on, I find a lot of the discourse about that fascinating, but I am not in any way, shape, or form tied enough to the Neopets fandom to really speak about it. Oh, your D&D game plays tonight. Nice. Love that for you. Which edition are you playing? Like, I've done a fair amount of design for 5th edition, but I did a little bit of design way back in 3rd edition too. I have since moved on due to the OGL debacle and a bunch of other things that just really soured the brand for me, which is actually part of what gave me the nudge to just start building my own games full force, you know? So in a way, yeah, the OGL debacle is responsible for the fact that we actually put out a full version of Proto Drive instead of it just being like a fun little thing that I did in the background, you know? There is an entire 5th edition rulebook for the world of Vania, which is the world that I as a character live in, but it technically is available if you know where to get various things that I make, but it is eventually going to become the basis for a different game, shall we say. I'm going to call it a Merkborg offshoot, but it's mechanically, or I should say aesthetically, it's going to differ pretty hard from Merkborg, simply because that doesn't really fit the world in which I live. But the base mechanics of Merkborg are actually really, really useful for doing what we want to do. 5th edition 2014, we're currently sailing 1 million gold around the bottom peninsula of the continent, and in your path is a massive storm giant and his feelings. Oh, okay. So I know the campaign that you're playing. It's a pretty good one. As long as you have fun people to play it with, if that makes sense. Like, that was one of the things. So back when I was playing 5th edition, I started playing 5th edition specifically because, oh, interesting. Okay, why is that way? Hang on a second, I gotta plug something in. There we go. Yeah, so I started playing 5th edition because of Adventurers League, and I had a whole hell of a lot of fun in Adventurers League because it got me out of the house, it got me interacting with new people and seeing how other people play TTRPGs, which was really, really helpful for when I was running my own games because it made me think more about like, oh, okay, so here are things that other people might want, and all that sort of fun stuff. Sailing around the world takes an extra week, and our captain is only paid for 5 weeks. Oh, this is the homebrew, and the gold is only part of a long-running side quest. Oh, okay. Well, never mind then. Oh, goodness gracious, Sono. Sono, please get to a bed. I would like to keep working. Perhaps an in-game clock would be a good mod to add here. Like a game world clock, so that we can like be mining down below during the nighttime, and then once it becomes daytime, head back up to start working. Because I mean, I could continue mining out the space that I've been working in. That would be fine. But I would rather like it to just be morning, so that I can continue my rooftop project. But yeah, it was very interesting because like one of the things that I included in the 5th source book for World of Vania was actually a way to more, I don't want to say respectfully, but like to make characters more a combination of their parents, both lived experience and physical existence, because like it's an important thing in Vania that like, you know, we, like, all of the cultures of our world mix together and create new and interesting things as a result of that. And so, like, you could play somebody who is just a human, or you could play somebody who, you know, maybe one parent was a human, maybe one parent was an orc. And so, like, you get bits and pieces of each parent's culture as part of who you are. And essentially I was trying to get away from the bioessentialism that is a part of Dungeons and Dragons even to this day. And then when they said they were going to be starting to do something similar to that, or 5.5 or 6e, whichever you want to call it, I was kind of excited, kind of hesitant. I was like, oh dang, so they're going to be doing the thing that like I was trying to do and trying to make a unique thing, and then it like basically barely existed. So like, what was I afraid of, you know? Oh, line of side quests. So you have get and transport 1 million gold loan from the bank to the kingdom. Investigate why the 12 orc tribes are gathering under one leader. Deliver a letter to the captain of the Canterbury Pirates, asking to become temporary privateers. See if the southern dragon clans would like to get revenge for the northern clans. Genocide to be continued. Oh boy. Oh, there's a lot going on. Okay. By the time Sono gets to sleeping, is it just going to be daytime again? Like, Sono, are you actually online right now, Sono? Do we give up at a certain point? Like, what do we do here? Like, what's the etiquette for this? But yeah, I had a lot of fun with Adventurers League because it allowed me to, like I said, get out of the house, do, you know, meet new players, do all that sort of fun thing. I was much more actively going to conventions and doing public play games. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna... What time is it now? We've waited a few minutes. Daytime again yet? I can't tell because of where my wall is. Nope, it's still nighttime. Which is the whole fucking reason we were trying to sleep. Let's try again. Okay, nope. Oh, gather the 6 shards of an ancient dragon that was once a goddess. Champion to kill it for good. 1 out of 6, currently corrupting your character. Ooh, fun stuff. Deal with the 500-year-old vampire bank owner that hates your guts. Miscellaneous preparations for war. Oh, that is a lot. But hey, your characters are busy. So, you know, that's nice, that's nice. You always have something to do, and that's kind of the important part. Oh. Hang on a second. Oh, there we go. I have been investigating more like motion capture stuff, and I think I have a solution that will help me be a little more fluid moving. But some of it does not come out for several more months now. Okay, alright. Well, Farmer Gata stopped trying to sleep as well, so I guess I'll just hitch up my britches and we'll get to, I don't know, mining for a little while. Let's see. Okay, we did need to... let's go down to this level. So let's see... Is this the basalt? I think so. Oh, you know, I could just look up at the thing in the corner there. It does definitely say basalt. Okay, so we're going to place a torch there. This is our first row, functionally. You're playing a fairy cleric fighter of Saloon, same goddess for that dragon. He's been dealing with the Mantle of Desire, the shard of the dragon that held its, well, desire. The other characters in the party knew they wouldn't be able to resist the corruption, but Veer sure can. Nice. Now, is Veer actually able to resist the corruption, or does he just think he can resist the corruption and is slowly, you know, being corrupted by said corruption? Either way, fairy characters are a lot of fun and underplayed, in my opinion. Now, that being said, they can be rather disruptive if the player playing them doesn't understand how to have fun with the character and just acts like a little shit. See also a lot of people who play Malkavians in VTM. Like, I love Malkavian characters, but there are definitely people who play them without understanding how to actually play them in a way that is interesting and not just disruptive. If you have no idea what I'm talking about when I say Malkavian or things like that, you have led a less angsty life than I have. He forced it out of his soul. When he went to grab it again, told it to shut up because its only purpose was to be a tool until it was discarded and destroyed. Ooh. When we bring the shards together. It deserved to shut up, or decided to shut up and be a passive observer. Okay, alright, fair enough, fair enough. Well, at the very least, we are also picking up a lot more copper, which is going to be rather useful. Because I still don't know how to get hide, and therefore all of my tools are kind of tied to the copper. There's 2, there's 3, there's 4, so 1, 2, 3, yep, okay, I did count that correctly. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Oh, this is a Bot and Kaito soundtrack. Lovely. I was just thinking that it sounded like like that soundtrack, quite frankly. Oh, that game was so good. Its mechanics were at times a little bit frustrating, even when it was first released, because it still used the old, like, go to this crystal or other location to save mechanics. Even though, like, menu-based saving had been a thing in a lot of RPGs for quite some time by then. But yeah, it did a lot of interesting things when it came to card battle mechanics that are still kind of rare to this day. Okay. On top of that, though, its story... 3, 4, okay. was really, really, really sweet. Despite some of the roughness in the intro to the game. And it was a really nice, poetic way of discussing, you know, how people survive the end of the world, because the end of the world doesn't mean that the world ceases to exist. It just means that what the world was before undergoes a dramatic, enormous change. And it's one of those things where people who mean you ill will tell you that, oh, well, you know, like, if this country ceases to exist, it's going to be a sign of the end times. It's the end of the world. And it's like, okay, well, is that actually the end of the world, or is that just the end of your control over the world? You know? Because that's a pretty important distinction. And for some people, that those two things are one and the same, you know? Because, like, if the only world you've ever known is one in which you have complete and total control, then, yeah, okay, the world is ending. But for a large portion of folks, that's not an ending. That is, like, that's a new beginning, really. Oh, and the reason he was able to force it out of his soul and at the same time gain the ability to look at his own soul is because he overwhelmed it with his own desires. Even when he was in a manifestation of the 1,000 souls the dragon owned and subjugated during its time alive. Ooh, wow. Cool stuff. You love it when characters can actually, like, stand up to strong magical critters and or beings and or objects. Had a few experiences with that myself. I think I've mentioned it on stream at least a couple of times, but I have definitely had to deal with a couple of, shall we say, errant deities. One of them I annoyed, but he came to like me. One of them is kind of sort of dead because of me. And another just... he's a trickster god. It's the god that V worships. So I don't know what my actual reputation with him is, because depending on who you ask and who you talk to, that's he's either a very positive or a very negative god. The reason he was able to force it... Oh, okay, I did already read all of that. But again, that's getting into, like, the deep lore. There are thousands of pages all about that sort of stuff that you can read a lot of for yourself. Or if you want to wait a little while, we're doing some re-edits of some of the older stuff to make it, I'm going to say better. The core ideas were there, but the quality can definitely be worked on. He does get a scythe he can use from it. Ooh, 44 plus 7 fire damage, made of pure dragon fire. Neat, neat, neat. Anyone hit by it and fails a charisma save must attack someone hostile to Veer on their next turn. Oh, very cool, very cool. Oh, we are losing stuff. Hmm. Let's craft that, and then now we can... There we go. There we go. Yeah, one of my favorite items from 5e, particularly from Adventures, not Academy, oh my goodness, I was just talking about it earlier. The public play Adventures Guild. The name doesn't really matter. Because the point is, one of my favorite items from that was Adventurers Society, Adventurers League, that's the one. He didn't get to see that that effect happened yet because most people hit by the side just died in one hit. Oh, well, yeah, fair enough. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. But yeah, one of my favorite items from Adventurers League was a corset that basically had a free glamour spell. You could just glam it to look like whatever you wanted it to look like, but it always had to be a little bit slutty. And like, the wording on it was not that blatant, but that was basically the function of it, you know? Yay, it's daytime. Okay. And continue working. So, still have a horse. Hello, horse. We have not yet gotten the update that allows animals to be properly tamed. So horse is still kind of sort of technically a wild horse. But we'll get him on our side eventually. Let's see. Let's go down to there. Ah! Well, now we're out here. I didn't want to have to do that, but here we are. Yay! Sorry, I am just very amused by the fact that we have an actual mail system here. Using it makes these white fading to gold scales grow along his arm, and they have reached up to his shoulder blade. No mechanical benefit detriment from them yet. Oh, okay, so they don't go away when he stops using it, kind of a thing. Neat and very interesting. Oh, hello, little owl. And here is where I have to make some interesting choices, because I think what I'm going to do is... let's see... let's actually take this apart and build this up as another roof area. Because I want a horse to have some outside space, you know? Oh wait, except, that puts that closer than it should be, actually. Okay, hang on a second. It should actually go there. And then I need to put... guess the better solution would just be to drop that there as well. Look. Leaves. Potato. There we go. Oh, and I did just realize that was my nice basalt, not the cobble. Oh, hang on, there's a lot more. There was a time that he failed to save, and in desire took the reins in for a moment. Led to him cannibalizing the Thieves Guild leader. Oh boy. And half of his lackey. Led to him having to blindfold himself for a while, because whenever he would see someone in a position of power over him, he would feel an intense hunger. Oh. That's a little rough, buddy. That's a little rough, buddy. Okay, this is completely full. Let's see. Is that... Okay, that's just labeled as just a flat wooden chest. Those are dark woods. Oh. Well, I feel silly. Let's put you down there. There we go. Now what can we offload? Get rid of the softwood. Put some sticks away. I don't really need the mushrooms, although I should eat some berries because I'm dying. I don't need the volcanic cobble. I need the basalt stuff, however. Let's just go ahead and throw this away while we're down here. Just so it's not in the inventory, you know? Oh, hello?
The fire brought a gross bug inside again.
No. Does he at least still have a hold of it, or did he let it loose?
It's in a jar, but Lynn's
Okay.
looking at it like it's candy.
Oh, nerds. Okay, give me just a moment and I'll come deal with that situation. Alright, folks, it is time for our first 5-minute break. I'm gonna hang out here since this is a nice safe zone. And then, yeah, we'll be back in 5 minutes. I'll go ahead and do a commercial while I'm away. And I hope to see you all on the other side of this. So, yeah, we'll be back for more roof building in just about 5 minutes. Talk to you soon. Okay, is it at least, like, not a brightly colored bug? Because you know she's going to try and yank that jar out of his hand if it is. you very much for the follow. I'm right behind you. I appreciate that. Hopefully we will live up to your standards, or else I'm sure that you will in fact be right behind us, wondering why we're not doing our job right here. But let's see. Unless... Wait, why are you not... There we go. Ah, no, hey now. That's not where you're supposed to be. Hey! That's also not where you're supposed to be. Get in my pocket. Oh, right, there was more said. Oh, no. Okay, fine, we can't get there. Let me get around to the front of the... Hello, Piglet. Hello! Hello, boar. You're adorable. Okay, let's see. We read the thing about the blindfold already. It seemed dropping desire made it calm down for now. Wasn't even able to make the scaled arm do more than twitch a small bit. Ooh. So then, is it essentially that the dragon is trying to take over your body and reassert itself? Or is it just like a fork of the dragon? Or am I asking questions that you don't know the answers to yet? Let's see. Okay, so we should probably deal with... Hello? This section? Oh! You know, it helps to actually have the thing that you're trying to place. Just a fork of the dragon. Okay, fair enough. That does make sense. And this goes this direction. Go this away. Eh. 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 Let's see. Oh, wait, you know what? Let me just move my actual chat window over here that I can more clearly read. That would probably make more sense. 6 shard, the one that was made by Saloon punishing the dragon for trying to overthrow her. That one was made by the dragon himself as a backup, as his true consciousness. And wouldn't you know who has that one? The motherfucking King of Seardale, who is fully corrupted and controlled by it. Well, that sounds about right. Otherwise, there wouldn't, be a story, would there? Now, can we get this? There we go! I've had the worst time getting the corners to pop in this. Go. That tells me that it's one. Okay, I think that's correct. Let's see. Yes, this is feeling correct. Hop. I said hop, damn you. There we go. There, you're not allowed to populate there. There we go, corner. Yay! The corner actually did the corner thing. Ugh. Is that actually lined up? Yes. Yes, I believe it is. Okay, so there's more updates. It started a war by having a dragon kidnap his daughter on her wedding day, putting bounties out on the heads of the party, who he hired to rescue her. Wait, hang on, what? The prince she was supposed to marry and his knights, your character is one, and his own daughter. And when he didn't get their heads, took the head of the king of Edelrealm and sent it by portal to the redo wedding of the prince and princess. Oh, goodness gracious, that is... Oh, that's a lot. Intrigue, as it were. Let's see. Is it starting to... The sun's starting to fade. I can't really see what I'm doing anymore. Let's head in... Or wait, no, hang on. Do I need to make any more? No, I don't. Okay. So let's see if I can sleep, or if Sono is still doing something that prevents me from doing so. Okay. Ow. I definitely pulled something while I was sleeping last night. Let's see. Okay. Oh, goodness gracious. Why is that not showing up on... Okay. So yeah, this music is from, waiting on Sonami Khan, is from the first or the second Gyakuten Saiban, so Ace Attorney, and again, it's so amusing to see what they were able to do with the Game Boy Advance's sound fonts and its ability to drive sounds, and how good it still sounds. Yeah, you could argue that, like, okay, if you're not a fan of kind of crunchy music, you know, I could understand not really liking this because it is made with a limited sound driver, but like, there's a lot of both melody, background, percussion, and all that sort of fun stuff going on in this soundtrack that you would not have thought would be possible on something like a Game Boy Advance. Now, that also being said, this game series probably honestly could have started on like the Game Boy Color and not had a problem because it had a very, very simplistic internal structure that is, you know, pretty standard for visual novels, but you know, we've been doing visual novels on the simplest things forever and a day. So, I don't know. Okay, good. This is not a version that has vocals to it. And also it looks like Sono is still doing something that is preventing us from sleeping. So I'm gonna go and continue to mine basalt, because we are also finding iron there, and I know eventually I will need lots of iron. So let's just go ahead and do the thing, why don't we? But yeah. Oh, it's also revealed during a prequel one-shot you did that the king's true form is that of a red treadworm, and he has control over an army of ethereal knights, an army formed from the souls of the dragons subjugated. Ooh. So, does that mean that the princess is herself a dragon of some sort, or has this dragon taken over the kingdom from a previously human monarch, or was that previously human monarch turned into a dragon by the corruption? I could see any of those options being the case, given everything. Yeah, Sona doesn't sleep. Okay. Well, yes, and I can understand that, but it makes it very hard for me to do work outside if, you know, somebody else on the server isn't willing to go take a quick nap when you are trying to change the time of day, you know? Previous human monarch who got corrupted. Okay, good to know, good to know. One day your sleepy mob will work again. Ah, fair enough, fair enough. Also, hello, Allegra. How are you doing today? And yeah, it would be just great if we had the ability to change the time of day. I was talking earlier about the fact that maybe we would want to propose like an in-game time clock to go into like a top corner of the screen or something, and I'm sure that there has to be a mod for it, because I know I certainly lose track of what time of day it is whenever I'm working down here. And I think it would be very, very helpful. Oh, you were supposed to be working in the office today, but power was out, so you got sent home as soon as you arrived. Hey, fair enough. Ooh, in-game clock, that would be great, right? Right? We actually found the corpse of his father and a journal detailing how they were searching for the tombs of the first king of Cyrodiil and the tomb of the king of all, another dragon. Oh, okay, cool. So, like, dealing with dragons has been like a long-running theme for this family and all that sort of fun stuff. Good to know. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, bop. 1, 2, 3, bop. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. We didn't have to deal with that one. 1, 2, 3, bop. 1, 2, 3, bop. 1, 2, 3, bop. 1, 2, 3, bop. 2, 3, and then there's that torch there. Okay, cool. Oh, can you tell I've spent a large amount of time underground in various block games and have built-in fears about accidentally leaving too much area for something to spawn. Not another dragon, the dragon. Oh. So then does that imply that all other dragons are shards of that first dragon? Because that's kind of what that implies to me. Replace that. While I wait for an answer, I'm just going to gush more about game music, because we've been listening to a track from the B-side of the Paradise Killer soundtrack. And oh my goodness, does that game soundtrack fit its aesthetic perfectly. Like, it's such a relaxed, sort of Miami-style, like, vaporwave soundtrack. But if you know anything about that era in real life, and especially if you know anything about what's going on in the game, you fully know why that relaxed vibe is nothing more than a facade in front of much, much more horrific things happening. Which, again, perfectly encapsulates everything happening in the game. The artists behind it all did a truly amazing job. And during the next Bandcamp Friday, I'm definitely picking up the Kasamichi soundtracks, which are the soundtracks for the follow-up game, Promise Mascot Agency, which also did an absolutely fantastic job of being a great send-up and homage to the Yakuza films of like the 70s and the 80s, while also being about, running a very strange and silly mascot agency, where the mascots are literally the things that they are instead of being people in suits. It's very strange, but I love it to death. Oh, hang on, I will take a look at that in a second. Note, this dragon was chosen as a champion of Saloon, grew evil and tried to overthrow her, and was split into 5 and 1 more shards. Okay. Other dragons exist. Another fun thing is that King Avalon isn't from the original royal family. He was just a general that the old king named heir because he had none. Oh, okay, cool. We live in a non-bloodline kingdom. Wait. Oh, okay, yeah, no, we already did that thing. Whew, made myself worried for a second. I said. To the end. Oh, we're not far out from that meme being like nothing more than a meme and not something some people actually experienced online, or on television, I should say. Okay, where? Ooh. Should I start doing my repairs with the more aesthetic stone? Oh! That was silly of me. I should have known better than that. There we go. And now we can just go back up this. And once we get to the other side of this, I'll go upstairs and check and see if it's daytime yet. So, other dragons exist. But another fun thing... Oh yeah, I already read that one. Avalon was obsessed with finding the tomb of the dragon from what little we could read of the journal. He also got his standing because of his attack against the northern dragon clans in response to one of the dragons destroying a town, an event he orchestrated as pretense to steal their hoards. Oh, well. I feel less good about this guy. Okay. Inventory's not completely full yet. Is it daytime yet? Nope. And there is the weirdly high-res moon. Hello, high-res moon. There we go. Back to strip mining. Okay, let's see. on the one hand, Dragon Quest does tend to reuse a lot of its themes across games, but they also tend to do like re-recordings and stuff. Like this one is just absolutely gorgeous. And I love the fact that they had full soundtracks for, what was this, 11? I think? Yeah, this was 11. The remake. The most recent one, I should say, that has like the ability to switch back and forth between like 3D and 2D and all that sort of fun stuff. And if everyone got a lore-relevant mod in the server, how would you feel about other goblins treating you as friendly? No one does, because who sends an ethereal knight to protect the prince and princess's bedroom in the middle of the night? Well, yeah, that is kind of rude. So I think that would be pretty cool. I would feel a little bit weird about it, since then, like, I don't know, they're still enemies to everybody else. But it's also kind of a bit of a lore thing for me that, depending on where the other goblins came from, I actually don't get along with a lot of other goblins. Like it. So again, not to get like too deep into my own lore, but essentially there is like a bit of a cultural revolution going on in the world of Vania right now. So historically, goblins have been a very isolationist group, partly due to our history of how when the first elves arrived on Vania, they did not particularly treat my ancestors particularly well, and that combined with some natural disasters and stuff forced us south of a mountain range, which then kind of turned the region that we live in into a really, like a bit of a swampy mess, shall we say. It's literally called the Bogmurk. And so like it became a whole thing where goblins became very, very isolationist. We get along well enough with the Naga and the orcs, but yeah, elves especially, but humans to a lesser extent were, you know, kind of kept at arm's length for a while. We get along better with the humans now, and most of us deal better with elves now, although you still have those traditionalists out there, and those are kind of the ones that I don't get along with, who really want to stick to our roots and yada yada yada. I don't like them. More modern goblins and the people who have you know, started to try and reintegrate with the greater Vanian society, especially in the post-war years, those are the folks that I get along well with. Like, there is a whole other faction of goblins called the White Wind Goblins that essentially tried, like, they're very much of the mindset that I am, where it did not make sense to stay isolationist when everybody else got together to fight the war against Antinia, which was a whole other separate invasion that happened 100 or so years ago, but did not come to a close until, I want to say a little bit after I was born, a few years, I can't remember off the top of my head. And, you know, the Goblin Society, because most of our society existed south of that mountain range, and that mountain range is incredibly difficult to cross, except for in one or two places, a lot of our leaders were basically like, well, that's other people's problem. We're not a part of that. That's something for other people to deal with, not for us. And hey, guess what? It sure super fucking was, in the end, our problem. Because it's this wonderful, interesting thing that happens when you have an overseas, you know, invasion. The coastline goes around the whole fucking continent. So mountains don't exactly stop them from invading when you still share a fucking coast. And so, like, it became a whole thing. And that, like I said, that kind of caused a lot of splintering in Goblin Society in Vania. So you now have this faction of folks who are trying their honest best to sort of update some of our worst cultural stuff and become a part of the greater society. And I don't agree with everything that the White Wind folks are doing, because like some of what they're doing really just flips some of our most toxic traditions on their head and is still as toxic as a result. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, there we are. But a lot of it is well-meaning, and so like there's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Part of the reason why I just started my own village, basically out in the middle of nowhere. Obviously, like there are a few other goblins around here, like my best friend Erica, all of my, well, I shouldn't say my best friend, my oldest friend Erica. I'd say B is probably my best friend at this point, but there's a reason I married him, you know. Our kids who are, I guess, I don't know, like, do they count as goblins? They're half goblins. They're half goblins, half elves. So, you know, it's a whole thing. And that rankles some people the wrong way. Because again, ancestrally, goblins and elves have not exactly gotten along because, you know, the first elves that landed here kind of took our land. It was a whole thing. But also they were refugees from an environmental disaster on their continent, which arguably they caused, but, you know, there's a lot of history. There's a lot of history. Out of character, Allegro, this is all, like, stuff from the book series and the background of the book series, which is me making use of... Whoop! Shit. Me making use of my anthropology degree to essentially write a 40,000 plus year history of the world of Vania. So fascinating stuff as far as I'm concerned, but also if I'm boring you, tell me that, and I will move back onto other subjects. And you can see why I was like, oh, I should make a 5e supplement for this to cover a lot of the world history and like just how different it is from most standard fantasy realms. Because Vania is not a place that is trapped in medieval stasis. That war that I mentioned, like I said, it brought all of the peoples of Vania together, which led to a huge push to combine a lot of older traditions. So you have the dwarves who are not inherently magical on their own, but do know how to use magic via a technology that they refer to as arcanosmithing, combined with learning spells and things off of the other more magically talented groups, and thus like kind of combining and finding new ways to do things like that. Whole new pantheons, like goodness gracious, I want to say there are like 12 active pantheons in Vania right now. There are the modern ones, but there are also some more traditional ones still banging around out there. It's a whole thing. Well, you like hearing this, you like learning. Okay, very good. Like we've got a couple of different variants of beast folk, because it turns out humans are a really, really flexible template. Apparently the dwarves are historically related to the humans in a very direct way, but I can't speak on that because I am neither. But essentially, depending on what religions and how deeply humans worship it, sometimes they can just be like beast folk. They can just have beast folk kids out of the blue. But if they follow Vanian religions, classically they have beast folk kids that tend to be more pastoral species. So think along the lines of like cows and raccoons and rats, and you know the more like, I don't know, like I said, I say pastoral. I hate to say herbivorous because obviously they're not all herbivores, like raccoon folk, not herbivores. Rat folk, not herbivores. That sort of a thing. But it is... saying prey species also feels a little bit worse as well, but that's kind of where it's at, honestly. Whereas the Untinian beast folk all tend to be more predatory species. But again, I hate saying that and describing the things as that because, like, well, I mean, obviously, like, Rebecca's not a predator. There's a lot of linguistic, like, baggage that comes with describing somebody that way. But, like, think, like, big cats, dog species, stuff like that. But then you get kind of a breakdown in that because, like, well, you know, okay, if somebody is a cow or a bull, that's one thing, but like, where does a bison stand? For that matter, if you're like similar to like a golden retriever or something like that, does that make you an Antinian beast folk or a Vanian beast folk? Because like, yes, you are related to wolves, but are you still like, I don't know, like, it's kind of weird because like I said, it has more to do with the pantheon that they follow, more than the actual like nature of the person. And that's something else that Vanian society is kind of trying to come to grips with, because there is the fact that the Antinians who remained after the war were folks who were not necessarily combatants, but were just, kids who had been moved here as a result of the invasion because of the whole, like they were invading other lands in order to get more land for themselves. But like, also, sometimes you just get kids that are beast folk from humans, like I mentioned before. And like, well, how do you morally deal with that? Because like, if you don't have any history with those groups that did the invasion, then you're not a bad person. Like, you can't be a bad person. But certain people who still remember that era, see somebody like that and make automatic moral judgments. It's a whole thing. So yeah, that was kind of the whole point of the setting, was exploring ideas like that and how society moves past, that sort of collective trauma, and advances now that like groups who have historically been opposed to one another are actually trying to start and work together. Because like, like I mentioned before, elves and goblins did not historically get along. But it was because when the elves first arrived and they took over our ancestral land, it was because they themselves were running from an environmental, quite frankly, apocalypse that happened on their own continent. V would be a better person to speak to that because he's more familiar with the history of Emulia, which is the Elven continent, than I am. He's fairly young, but it's just that is his folks' history, so he has more of an understanding of it. And so like scared people act as scared people do, and they make more scared people, and so like that's just a whole thing. But nowadays, again, that was hundreds of years ago, like thousands even, actually, I want to say. So like, why would we still hold that grudge? Why should we still hold that grudge? More field folk. Oh, that's a great description for them. Let's see, that's so wild, actually. Oh, I don't even remember what I was talking about when you said that's so wild. You can imagine being a wolf or dog folk out in the country should make sense, but it's rare that's sort of wild to grow up with. Exactly. Sounds like a whole thing. It is a whole thing, but it was something that, like, again, me stepping back as the creator. I grew up in the Deep South as a queer person who had to contend with having family history in, shall we say, a part of the culture that did not treat others well. And so having to kind of figure out, okay, well, like, obviously that is not the way that we should be, but there is still some value in having some level of family history, especially since members of that family fought on both sides. Like, it was, yes, there were, parts of the southern states that were like, obviously doing terrible, terrible things, but then I had family members who were abolitionists. Fuck it, why am I beating around the bush? This is my channel. I can talk about whatever I want to talk about. Like, I had family members that were abolitionists and made sure to, redistribute the land that historically belonged to them to folks who had been freed during Reconstruction. And like, there is a huge push to do that amongst some of my family, but other parts of the family absolutely were not for that. For, unfortunately, obvious reasons, because they were racist pieces of shit. Yeah, again, my channel, I can talk bad about them. And so, like, yeah, this setting was a way for me to kind of explore what could have been a better way for the world to change after everything that happened. It didn't happen IRL, which is a shame, because it should have. But here we are. It is what it is. That's a very, very true way of putting that. Yeah, no, like, and so, again, as a queer person who has that family history and, you know, still has people who are racist pieces of shit in the family that I do not talk to and have not talked to for decades at this point, because why would I? Like, they are living in the past. They are being absolute tools when they don't need to be. Like, it's one thing to say, okay, great grandma or great grandpa who, you know, lived through, like, was born in the 1800s. I can understand them refusing to change because, like, that they experienced a goodly portion of their life during a time period where that was still the law of the land. But hey, here's a fun fact. Again, even people back then were not universally in favor of this shit. So, like, maybe we should have been holding those generations to a higher standard. And certainly people who are younger than that generation should have been held to a higher standard because that was no longer the law of the land. And especially people who are in just like my parents' generation. What are you talking about? Like, if you were a kid during the 1970s when all of the, like, civil rights stuff was coming to fruition, I understand that you learned from parents who were existing before then, but, like, again, like, I have a great deal of antipathy for people who do not want to change. Like, the world has moved on. The world is a better place because we are changing, because we are inviting, you know, people from other cultures to be a part of our own. Why wouldn't you want that? Combining with other cultures is how we learn and how we become better. It's how we create new things, new beautiful things. It's how we make new art. It's how we make new science. It's how we just become better, more loving people. Why wouldn't you want that? And it always comes back to control, because a lot of the worst parts of society are all about controlling others and gaining power through that control. And I understand that. I do. From a very cynical point of view, I get it. But, like, it hurts me in a very deep place that people don't understand that that's why they're being told that outsiders are bad and that they should just not choose, that they should just choose not to change, that they should choose tradition with the capital T over learning new things and meeting new people and doing all of those things. And it's a form of brainwashing, and I can't stand that. It hurts me. One of the greatest things that I've ever personally been able to do, and again, this is me speaking IRL, not as Sheela the character, was to be a college professor for 10 years. I wasn't a professor for that whole time. I worked my way up to it. But, you know, to work with students for 10 years and to influence the people around me and, you know, show them that, like, hey, you should talk to people. You should talk. This is the best time in your life to talk to new people and to meet new people and find out things about the world that you didn't know before. Because, like, and I fully understand that I am one of those people who was, like, corrupting the youth because, like, yeah, obviously, yes, I was. If your kid comes to me as somebody who has lived a totally sheltered life, never meeting anybody outside of their own cultural heritage or whatever, yeah, I'm going to encourage them to talk to others and to begin to understand where other people come from.
I hate to interrupt your stream,
hey,
my little flower.
No, you're fine.
But there's a customer issue out front?
No. A little issue, big issue, what are we dealing with?
Just the former.
Okay. I'll be there in just a moment. Because, yeah, but anyway, I'll finish up what I was trying to say. Like, of course I would encourage them to meet new people and try out new things and just, yeah, like, why wouldn't I? Why would you want them to live in the exact same world that your great-grandparents lived in? It's not the world that exists anymore, you know? I don't know. I'm sure I'll have more to rant about when I come back, but honestly, I forgot. I should have been checking to see if it was daytime again anyway. So yeah, we'll go away for about 5 minutes, and I'm gonna run a commercial, do all that sort of good stuff. We'll keep talking about this sort of thing or other things. It's all good. You know, I should probably get back to talking about the World of Vania. How's that? But we'll do that when we get back from break, okay? So, talk to y'all soon. All right, hon. So is this like a pricing issue? Is this a problem where like their favorite person's not available? What should I be expecting? Alrighty, welcome back everybody. We are returning topside to continue working on roofing projects. Let's see. Bop, 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 bop. There we go. Let's see. Potato. There's that. Is that a crow? Hey, give me, let me. Hello, sir. What the? Oh, okay. Hello. Hello, how are you? Oh, is it? What kind of bird is that? Is that a robin? No, it's not a robin. It's got too many other colors. Oh, I love the birds. Birds are so good. Okay, I think that means I have a roof. I have the beginnings of the roof all around my area now. Ba, 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 ba. And yes, I am leaving the horse pen a little bit open. I'm going to extend it inward from where it's at right now so that if the horse wants to be under the shade, he can. But he doesn't have to be if he doesn't want to be. Okay, we're all good there. Okay, yep, fully covered. Okay, so let's talk more about World of Vania stuff. So Vania, like just diving deep into Vania's history. And again, this is me speaking out of character, actually explaining things that are not directly explained in the books yet. So if, you know, it's not really spoilers, but it's mostly just like, I don't know, fun, like setting info, if that makes sense. Oh wait, can I bop? Can I put that? Oh, excuse you. Ooh, or do I want to do another layer of roofing here? Like an additional slope, or do I want to do flat right there? I think I'm going to do another layer of slope. So, as I was trying to say, are you gonna please go away? There we go. Okay, corner established. So, Vania was originally populated by the orcs, or I should say the orcs' ancestor, because orcs, goblins, and trolls are all descended from those same ancestors. So I guess they're my ancestors too, technically. But there we go. Okay, another corner. When the ancestors of the dwarfs came over from Antenia, because again, this was this is an ongoing theme. They legitimately were just exploring. I have nothing against them. Like there were some misunderstandings, shall we say, but that was not they weren't trying to be dicks about anything. That just it ended up kind of bad for some of the people involved, but it is what it is. Real quick, let's plop that down there. Can I? There we go. There were some cultural misunderstandings that led to, again, a little bit of conflict. I'm not going to dig too deep into that one because, again, I know some people who would be better at describing that than I. One and did that corner itself out? That did corner itself out. Awesome. So yeah, essentially, eventually, like, the people who would become the dwarves kind of settled in the northern part of the continent, particularly the northwestern part of the continent. And The people who would become the orcs pushed more to the south. I don't think we need those in our hotbar anymore. Let's see. We were gonna go for second layer here, so let's go ahead and get that started. We're gonna go there from there to describe stuff. Essentially, like the continent became kind of divided betwixt the two. Yay! It automatically cornered this time. And for a while, everything was kind of good. The orcs had what I would describe as a combination of First Nations and Greco-Roman lifestyle. Their main population centers were around an inland sea. So think along the lines of like Athens and I don't want to use Sparta as an example because that gives the wrong vibe. Like too many people have too many hang-ups about what Sparta is or was when it never actually was that. Fun fact: if you think that Sparta was militarily the best of the best of the best, as it were, they were not. They super duper were not. Sparta was actually kind of a shithole. Actually, come to think of it, they are a good comparison for the United States because they liked to act like they were the big bad and could beat everybody in a fight, but when push came to shove, they were actually pretty easy to push over. Because, like, historically, they almost never want to fight, actually. Okay, good. That forced that roof into position as well. Hello? There we go. Okay, that cornered properly, good. Oh, no, that's not where you're supposed to be. So yeah, like I try not to use them as an example because that's not what the orc states were like. But I bring First Nations folks into it because unlike the Greeks, they had a much healthier respect for the land, partly because of how orcish magic works. They had a much better understanding about how the natural flow of mana moves through our world. And so they had a lot of, like I said before, respect for the land, because they understood that, like, hey, if you push things too far, ow, my knees, in the wrong direction, then bad things are going to happen. Something that the dwarven ancestors had to learn the hard way, by causing yet more natural disasters, quite frankly. But it's also part of why the dwarves don't have inherent magic anymore. It's a combination of kind of burning themselves out and also losing faith in their original gods. So magic, and this is me speaking from a little bit above the table, as it were. Magic in Vania works very much on willpower, and so if you lose the willpower, if you lose the will to be able to cast, if everybody in your group thinks that they can't cast anymore, well, nobody can cast anymore. So when they lost their faith because of losing so badly against the Orcish ancestors, they lost their connection to magic. But when they then were able to make peace and kind of gain an understanding from the orcs of how mana cores worked. Mana cores are kind of a crystallized version of magic. That eventually gave birth to their arcana smithing traditions, which are basically like I don't want to call them oh goodness, what is normal D&D do for the technology-based class? I can never remember what it's actually called because, like, I intentionally avoided paying attention to it or the area that it came from, so that I wouldn't have crossover between the two for a long time. But it does some similar things to that, but in a very different way. 2, 3. Okay, that's our third one, and then our fourth one is there. Because essentially what they figured out how to do is use mana cores as something like a battery, which allows them to kind of imbue specific items with specific spells, beans, and then just kind of, swap in a new battery when the original power source runs out, or just recharge it, Oh, okay, awesome. Hang on a second. Gata is willing to sleep. Let's go here. Yes. There we go. Okay, that made my life a lot easier. Thank you, Gata. I don't know if Gata is actually watching or if Gata is still doing their own stream, but still. That makes my life a whole heck of a lot easier. So anywho, the dwarves have arcana smithing as a tradition, and especially once that war happened and everybody started coming together for like real, and everybody was actually like interacting in a meaningful way. Oh, I have fallen in the wrong place. And they were more willing to start teaching arcana smithing to other groups. That now meant that anyone can become a caster. Let me up. There we are. So you don't have to be born as a caster or with somebody who has the innate, like, quote-unquote innate ability to cast. Because again, magic works basically off of willpower, so if you think you have the ability to cast hard enough, anyone can learn to be a caster. 2, 3, there we are. Through like deep study and all of that, normal wizardry stuff. But arcana smithy offered people another way to do it, even if they didn't think that they had any sort of inherent natural way of doing so. They could learn how to essentially build their own way to cast spells, which is real cool in my opinion. Like that's great. But then there are also a whole bunch of different magical traditions that don't deal with it that way. The arcana smiths kind of learned the hard way that there are limits on what they can push. I forget what the name of the city is, but there is an old burned out former city, I should say, up in the northernmost reaches of the continent that, oh shoot, I'm out of roofing supplies, dang it. Kind of became what's referred to as a blasted zone. Essentially it is a place where so much magic was released all in one go that all of the land was basically ruined. Nothing grows there, there's no magic there. There are technically creatures there, but they are, shall we say, not friendly. I feel like not friendly is the nicest way I can describe them. Because they are essentially, as far as I understand anyway, the remnants of, like, I don't want to say living magic, but because like they're not particularly well understood even amongst people who study them. But they are what the world does when too much of its magic has been burned away. And so kind of, I don't know, maybe think of them as like an immune system reaction. Like where the world is essentially trying to recoup some of what it has lost and some of what we took from it. Oh, fuck. Can I not get under this? There we go. and they were used as war creatures by the Antinians during that most recent war, which kind of tells you a lot about what you might want to know about their rulers. Is anybody who will see a thing, like a monstrous thing that is created by their own hubris and go, how can I turn this to my advantage? Not a nice person. Not a good person, you know? I feel like I've gotten off track. Oh, right. I was talking about, like, just the fact that that was a lesson that the Arcanismiths learned. Whoa. Pretty quickly. Let's see, what were the folks that actually, like, oh, I don't want to necessarily get rid of that branch, but I guess I have to. I want to continue the roofing the way I have been. But yeah, the trolls on the other hand, thank you very much for the hydrate, and I don't see what the other thing that you did. Ah, posture check. You know what? That is a good point. Good water. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so, I seriously can't remember what the trollish magical tradition is called off the top of my head. Oh, I feel really bad about that. I do remember how it functions, though. So, whereas the Arcanosmiths use essentially technology to kind of overcome their inability to naturally cast, the trolls who, or I guess the people who would become trolls later on down the line, because they weren't trolls actually yet. They were still orcs. They were just kind of like mountain orcs, if that makes sense. There we go. Their whole thing involves using mana cores and essentially like using mana cores to augment their own natural ability to cast, so that even if they themselves don't have that like power within them, they can allow elemental forces to move through them and essentially kind of use themselves as a conduit for those energies. There we go. Cool. So we now have our partial roof. I'm going to go ahead and do... Can I place that? Nope, that didn't place correctly. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to need to do one of these. Oh, hello? There we go. No. Oh, this is going to become a whole thing, isn't it? I am doing well. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well, too. But yeah, no, I'm yapping about the world of Vania, which is the world in which I live. Here we go. There. Okay, so for now, that's good enough for now. Let's lay out some shingles. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Well, hang on a second. So if I then... Uh-oh. Ran into this exact issue while you were trying to make a roof. Felt like you were going crazy. Yeah, I'm hoping that the direction of these single tile shingles will pop once I get something built out a little bit, but Hang on a second. Oh, do I not have any more standard cobblestone? I feel like I have to have cobblestone around here somewhere. So anywho, you did not, but your mileage may vary. Oh, nerds. Okay, well, I'll deal with that when I have to deal with that. Okay, there's some more standard cobble. So let's see what I was talking about. Trollish magical tradition involves essentially using yourself as a conduit for natural elements. You know, the standard human magical tradition kind of follows wizardry as it's normally known. You know, you go to college for it, that sort of a thing. You learn how to do it from other people who know how to do it. Okay, I need to build myself a nerd pole or something. Huh? No? Come on, come on. Hey, there we go. Get rid of that. I have made a mistake. That was not far enough away. No? Eh, come on! I know I'm short, but come on! Eh. Okay, well. How about this then? Eh, there we go. Okay, now that makes a little more sense. Let me put this there. Okay. Can do that. Then that. As we're gonna have at least one tile there. Means we need to put one. Let's see, So if I do that there, and that there, why can't I put something there? Excuse me? There we go. And then there we go. Okay, so we got the slope to do the thing. We got the corner. Corner is cornering. Oh, this is going to be convoluted. Oh, no, excuse me. No, I need to, there we go. Okay, so, yeah, as you were saying, the tiles are not doing what I would like them to do. Let's see. There. I suppose I'll just have to have like one weird corner tile. Okay, well, we have a working method at the very least. You can cycle through tile appearances with the hammer. So, I know tile styles with the hammer. Is there... Because I know that, like, this snaps to a certain direction. You know what? Yeah, let me go make a hammer. Let me see what I can do. Is that standard workbench thing? Mace. Crude builder's hammer. There we go. Oh, come on. Bane of my existence. There we go. Okay. What? Bonk? Bonk, I say. No? Bonk? No? Oh! Oh. No? Okay. Well, Maybe that tile just... Yep, nope. Okay, I was doing the right thing. It just... That particular style does not do the thing. That's fine. I'm fine with my fancy roof being a little bit weird. Not like anybody's ever going to be up here anyway. Okay, so let's make sure that you're rotated in the correct orientation. So what I'll do is I will just make sure that each, like the last tile in a given row takes on the new orientation. Burglars might be up here. Okay, well, burglars can critique my roofing if they want to. That is their right to do, I suppose. I'm really trying to destroy as little of these trees as I can. But I gotta admit, it's kind of getting a little bit difficult. Like, I definitely want to leave that tree there for the horse. But... might interfere with my interior roofing. Maybe this area, we don't do the full interior roof. We just do the exterior roof and then kind of allow it to be a little more natural in that zone. I don't know. I'll figure it out in a second. Oh, wait, no, oh, beans. This is the space we've already done. Okay, hang on. Dear property owner, hey, just wanted to take a moment to, from this job to leave you a note about your roofing. I mean, listen, that's a very Terry Pratchett thing. I would not put that past anybody on this server. Because we are a bunch of fucking nerds. I say as affectionately as possible. Okay, okay, why are you being a butt? Why are you being a butt? Thank you. Let's see if we can make this pop without having to do anything weird about it. Nope. Well, at least it didn't fight me too much on the cornering. Alright, we should probably go and collect the stone we've popped recently. There we go. Overall, I think this is coming along rather nicely. So the intended pathway to get up there is up this set of stairs. And then we've got kind of a full walkabout. Oh, I should go ahead and clear out, at the very least, these. And I'm not 100% dedicated to having these wooden posts be what's supporting it. I feel like if I did that, I would need at least more wooden posts, if that makes sense. Plus, I've already got the decorative blocks at the bottom of it. I don't know. What do y'all think? Should I leave the wooden posts as the support structure and just add more? Or should I replace them with more of this decorative block? There we go. And up. Oh, I said up. Give me uppies. Go. So that's not the horse area that I thought it was. Where's my horse? Or is it? No, that is my horse area. No, the stables are out here. Yeah, I'm sorry. So I could get rid of this tree. Not that I want to, but... Oh, you know what I could do? I could just cut the top off of the tree. There, so we still have tree down here. Let's get a little more sunlight. That also means that we can add in a little bit more roofing up above too. Okay. Let's see. So we may need to take it another level down then. Yeah. Sorry, I'm starting to lose a little bit of steam in the conversation just because, like, now I'm having to actually, like, do a little bit of structural planning. Oh. And... Oh, no, there we are. No. That tool, thank you. So let's see, I was talking about magic systems. Where could we go from there? So let's see, I've already talked about Orcish, Dwarvish, and Trollish magic systems, plus the human stuff, which is, again, mostly like collegiate-based, that sort of a thing. Which I feel like that part is pretty standard. But that's just kind of what the humans are like. They like learning, they like going and trying out new things and interacting with new people and all that. Oh. That's kind of their whole deal. And then let's see. Elves are kind of like... They historically have been kind of a collegiate system, very scientific, but also there is, I don't know, some argument happening in their culture about whether they should continue to pursue that or not, because that was one of the things that actually led to their original continent's environmental disaster, was they pushed... It's very much the, like, oh, we pushed our science too far sort of a thing, you know? And so, like, that's a big part of why they had to abandon Amulia as much as they did. There are still elves over there, but they do not live very good lives. Because, you know, when your entire continent becomes a gigantic toxic jungle, with plants that want to eat you, and and have a fairly easy time doing so, yeah, that doesn't end well for your folks, you know? Yeah, let's do that. Give me some bricks. And then... need more shingles. Ooh, hang on a second. Oh, those are neat. Oh, I could replace the walls with the basalt brick walls and then have like these nice little fencing areas. That could be neat. Maybe specifically for the interior walls? Things to think about. Plus there are actual like pillars that you can use too. It's starting to get kind of dim out here again. Let's see if we can do the sleepy thing. So let's see. Yeah, okay, so Antinian elves are like the Antinian elves are starting to kind of bring back around their version of a wizard college. You know, very much a whole like intellectual thing. They are, for the most part, being a lot more careful about it than they were back on their homeland. Partly as like an agreement with, you know, literally everyone else on the continent who's like, hey, maybe don't do the whole evil, I shouldn't say evil, but the whole toxic jungle thing again. That would be bad for us. And partly for their own survival, obviously. They are at least that smart. You know, then there are like lyrical musical traditions. But that's like, that gets associated with elves, but it's not.
Brought a gross
hello?
bug inside again.
Again, sweetie. Okay, did he let loose, or
It's
does
in
he
a
still have a hold?
jar, but
Yeah?
Lynn's looking at it like it's candy.
Okay, I'll be there to deal with it in just a second. So yeah, we'll talk about where my magic comes from when we get back. How about that? Because it is technically a goblin tradition. Actually, no. Well, maybe. I don't know. I'll think about talking about that when we come back. How about that? Anywho, stand up, stretch, do all that good stuff. We'll be back in 5 minutes. All right? Okay, so did he just not release the bug like he said he was going to do earlier? Is it the same one he had earlier? Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Okay. Looks like God is not interested in taking a snooze either, so we'll just mine underground for a little while. So, I don't know. I'm hesitating to talk about the origins of my magic right now because, again, it's one of those things that's kind of tied up in my own personal drama and trauma. So I don't know if I have the energy for that today. But let's leave it at the fact that it has to do with the exchanging of energy between people. Yeah. I'll talk about that a little bit more some other time, I'm sure. It's a very social magic, one might say. It kind of ties back into what I was talking about earlier, where personally I want people to meet each other and learn from each other and learn how to be better people from one another. Because everybody has something that is good about themselves and something that they can tell others and show others, and a way to teach them to be more understanding, you know? I don't know. I'm struggling to figure out how to say all of this without like falling back on unfortunate tropes, which kind of are become self-defeating, you know? It's the worst. I feel like I have something better to talk about. Because again, you know, the music from this game, like every other game that I have in my soundtrack for days like this, is absolutely fun as hell. And while there is a lot of discussion to be had about, you know, the nature of rubber hose animation and why things are drawn in the certain styles that they're drawn in, it's hard to deny that the game is a lot of hard work, and a lot of people put a lot of work into it. Especially Cuphead, because of the fact that it was, you know, there's a fully hand-drawn game in a very Fleischer style, and that is an incredible thing to have done. I don't know, I feel like the game does an okay job of being sensitive about those sorts of topics as well. You know, not the least of which, because people are 2, 3, oh, beans. Put down another piece of cobble right there. 3, and now I'm out of rhythm. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 3, I think. Yeah. 2, 3, 3, and then there's the other torch there. Okay, good. So, what was I talking about? Oh, right, Cuphead. So yeah, I could certainly see an argument for the idea that Cuphead could have done something to more directly approach some of the terrible issues behind the rubber hose style animation, and, like, for instance, why certain characters are drawn with gloves, that sort of a thing. Because it is based in blackface, which is horrific, and all that. I don't know if that would actually serve that discussion, though. I mean, I'm sure that there are some people who would say, well, then maybe the game shouldn't have existed in the first place. But I don't know, maybe this is just my nostalgia talking. Maybe this is me defining and defending, I should say, a piece of culture that is better off left in the dust of history. But in a world where those social connotations have largely been forgotten, in general, is it still fair to treat a form of media that otherwise has nothing to do with that sort of a thing in a negative context? Now, the argument could be made that the way that they depict gambling and its association with certain styles of music and things like that could also, in and of itself, be a problematic trope. But honestly, like, I don't know. I feel like it's a very thin argument, simply because, well, I mean, everyone in that game series is, like, household objects. And once you start digging into the idea that, like, okay, well, certain household objects are coded to be a specific way. Oh, well, there goes that. Oh, hey, I'm out of good pickaxes. Okay, hang on a second. I gotta go and make myself some new pickaxes, I guess. Do I still have any wood with me? I do have wood with me. Okay, good. But yeah, once we get into trying to define what household objects are coded to be specific kinds of people, we're digging a little bit deep at that point. And I don't know. Maybe other people would feel differently about it than me, but I feel like that's digging too deep, perhaps. Like, what? Part of the whole thing that we should be trying to get rid of in culture is, you know, that old assumption that, like, certain words are gendered or certain things are associated with specific people and that sort of a thing. And I don't know, like, is it helpful to call up the fact that those stereotypes did exist once upon a time? Or is it more helpful to kind of allow those things to be relegated to the past? I genuinely don't know. And I am not the person to speak on that subject, frankly. Because I, in real life, am far too white for that. I cannot be the person who speaks on that subject. So, I don't know. Jump Light Odyssey is another one of those things that I always have something to say about it anytime its music comes up in one of these streams, because I really wish that game had gotten the time of day that it deserved, you know? It's a lovely little reference to a lot of lovely media in the past that talked about the ravages of war and the fact that sometimes it's better to just leave. Like, if you can absolutely just hit the fucking bricks, you know? Like, even if, let's say you have an absolute righteous thing, you know, in a war, like, let's say somebody else was the aggressor, and it's very clear that you were in the right and all of those sorts of things. There are times when, if it's a choice between survival and just dying, hit the fucking bricks, y'all. Don't let somebody else be the end of everything that you are and everything you could be, out of a sense of pride of all things. Alright, let's get some more wood. Can we use sticks as fuel? I do not remember. If we can't, I'll use some oak and generate more charcoal that way, but I'm hoping we can use sticks as fuel. Yes, we can. Awesome. Okay, cool. That means I have a way to get rid of a ton of sticks. And that's not me saying that, you know, people shouldn't defend their homes. Like, I have been a vocal supporter of everything that the Ukrainians are trying to do to defend their homes for years, since before the start of this conflict. Like, I was talking about it at least as far back as when the Russians invaded Georgia back in, what, 2012? That's not me trying to take moral high ground. That's just me trying to, like, give people how I want to word this, sort of an orientation for like when I started caring about these sorts of things, when I personally became aware of the things that were happening in the world and started to go, hey, this seems wrong. Like, this is not a new thing for me. This is a long-standing tradition of going, hey, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Why are we being jerks to each other again? Any tree log. Do I still have tree logs with me? Oh, using ingredients from nearby chests. Oh, okay, cool. Okay, well then. I'll go ahead and do that. There we go. Okay, that feels good. And before we go away, I'll just swap those in. And then I'll leave that producing copper for later. Wait, is it daytime now? No, I'm just tricking myself because I am below a bunch of torches. But yeah, as I was saying, Jumplight Odyssey was such a bittersweet little exploration of what happens when a people do have to abandon their home, and what they can do to try and find a new home and remain who they were without sacrificing who they might become. I don't know. Again, I wish it had had more time of day, as it were. Up. Oh, there's more. Nice. Okay, let's cobble. There we go. Oh, I'm gonna be picking that stuff up again anyway. Ah, beans. Oh well. And if I've said anything that's like out of left-hand field or, wrong, please tell me, because like I try to take the same philosophy when I'm writing or talking about things as Terry Pratchett did, who was one of the main writers that inspired me, which is that like I try to use my work to become a better person. And the only way that I can do that is by talking to people and listening to what they have to say as well. Because how can I learn about other cultures if I'm not listening to other cultures, you know? Which, I don't know. I feel like that's a lesson that there are people... Oh. Why am I reconnecting the chat? Huh, strange. Didn't see any dropped frames or anything. Weird. Twitch has been kind of buggy lately, which makes me think that they fired the people who knew what they were actually doing and tried to replace them with, like, a large language model or some nonsense. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's where the next layer of torches needs to go. Noted. On that note, did anybody else see the report that large language models still can't fucking play chess? You know, one of the main things that we've used as a thumb bob for how good a computer is for literally decades. I think that's funny. And unfortunately, an oh no, we're all gonna lose our jobs and then be paid a lot less to fix something that the stupid machine hallucinated way, but you know, hey, it's still kind of funny. In a real fucked up sort of way anyway. Oh, Kami, there's another game that has been released and re-released and re-re-released so many times that people are just absolutely tired of hearing about it, but remains, in my opinion, an absolutely gorgeous piece of art. And the Wii version, in my opinion, stands alone. Because, like, what better way to make a game about painting and making art than on the system that actually allows you to paint with the controller? Oh, I wonder if you could play Okami in VR. Oh, I'm gonna have to see if I can try that. I wonder if the PC version still has like an implementation for motion controls. Because if it does, I have access to a Valve Index. And I'm hoping to get myself a Steam frame when they come out. But we'll see how realistic that is. We don't yet know the price for the Steam frame, and the whole, like, memory and hard drive supply issue is making that a whole nightmare for Valve right now. But that's okay. I mentioned at the top of the stream that I've been experimenting with more motion capture, and that's a part of it. Because the Steam frame has the little cameras built into the visor, I am pretty hopeful that even with a heads-up display on, I'd be able to get eye tracking taken care of. Plus, I am looking into some slide VR trackers for my body. So I'm hoping to have a little more fun with that sort of tracking, you know? I don't know what I'd do with it yet. It sure would be a lot of fun. And quite frankly, it would be very gender affirming, if I'm being completely honest. Just being able to spend time in VR. Oh my goodness. Like particularly like, what is it, VRC, VR chat? Oh my goodness. What event or time of day is this from? Oh, this is the Halloween theme from Animal Crossing. Okay. Like, it almost sounded like Isabel's Vacation Juice theme kind of thing, you know? Because that girl gets fucking drunk on whiskey. Could be bourbon. I don't know. Either way, it's a brown liquor. And she gets absolutely fucking toasted. Nobody can change my mind about that. I should probably go upstairs and check to see what time of day it is now. I'll finish this section and then do that. I'm going to do with all of this basalt yet, but I'm going to find a use for it somehow. Like, my roof is obviously one option, but I don't know. I'll come up with something. Maybe I'll build a temple or something, you know? Okay, it is daytime now. Good. I can continue my roofing project. Hooray! Which is not a thing I ever thought I would say, but here we are. Let's see. Okay, rotato. I fully blame Gata for introducing me to that term. Oh, ow, my knees! Like, I do not remember exactly what the context for it was, but like, one of their first posts that I remember seeing and interacting with had to do with, okay, I need everybody in my audience to now take a picture of me in their mind and rotate it. And it was a whole gag that they had going on. Oh, nerds. Oh, I'm so sorry, tree. Oh, I feel awful whenever I have to do something like that. Because I do like keeping a mostly natural aesthetic to my locations, but you know, when the tree is in the way of the roof, you kinda gotta clear it out a little bit. No, I'm gonna get rid of most of this tree. So back earlier, I was talking about how the Ace Attorney soundtrack was making the GBA chip work, but that it could make it work harder. And Golden Sun soundtrack is a great example of exactly what I'm talking about when I said that. Because this is on the same fucking system that Ace Attorney was on, and listen to the actual, like, number of instruments that are present and how deep this sound feels. We're still capped at, I think it was like 4 voices. It was either 4 or 8 voices. But just the difference in what voices they were using and how they were using them changes the entire texture of the piece. Instead of being a weird, crunchy melody, it was able to be that kind of smooth, mysterious, almost symphonic sound. Okay, cool. So, we have now the flat part of the roof done all the way around. Let's go ahead and continue working on their slope. Which is not real German. That's just for whatever reason what my brain made me do there. I really should start practicing languages again. Because I feel like I should know what the term for that would be in German because, well, that's kind of one of the languages that I was studying for a while. Not for any real reason, I just... Like, there was a lot of music that I wanted to listen to and make sure that the lyrics were not being racist, which is a real danger in the metal community. Okay, let's... Okay, how much of this tree am I about to destroy? More than I'd like, but not the entire thing, it looks like. Although, if I end up accidentally destroying all of the branches, I may as well just knock the whole thing down anyway. How long have we been going for? We've been going for 2 hours and 45? Okay. That means I have one more commercial break and then one more segment after this. Let's see. That. And now I need to go make more roof bits. I'm just hoping I can get this project done before the end of the day today. That would be really nice. Wait. Okay, yeah, no, I made regular bricks. For a split second there, I was afraid that I made more of those really cool dragon blocks, which is cool, but not what I'm going for right now. Are those ducks? Are you a duck? Hello, duck. I think it is, because it's got like the mallard head. Oh, I love how much nature there is in this game. Like, I'm in that weird place where I was not exactly like a huge fan of nature as a kid. Oh, beans. I am gonna have to destroy like a huge part of this trunk, aren't I? But like as I grew up, I started to appreciate it a lot more. Like, I still don't want to necessarily be outside in nature. If I can avoid it anyway. But that being said, I do enjoy swimming in the river outside that we have just outside the keep. That's pretty nice. Oh, and there goes a lot of that. Oh, my knees. Oh, ah! Dang it. Oh, I should check to see if this needs more fuel. Oh, wow, no, it actually burned all the way through. Nice. I'll leave that be then. Okay, though. So, we ended up not having to fully cut this tree down, which is great. We did lose a lot of coverage over here, but the addition of the new roof will help replace some of that. There we go. It's actually cornered off nicely. Oh. Eh. Oh, you know what? I've been landing on my knees like this entire time. Can I not? Berries? Oh. Can you not eat berries while you're crouched? Weird. That's gotta be like a programming limitation of something. Oh, this is from a game called Riviera the Promised Land. It's a game. Sorry, I probably shouldn't say it like that. It is a good game. I think it's a good game. I had a lot of fun with it as a youngin'. But it definitely has some problematic moments in it. Oh, right. Okay, so we really are gonna have to lay out some blocks. You know, get things going, aren't we? Yeah, it was from that kind of like early 2000s era where developers weren't exactly afraid to do, like, I don't want to say it was outright doing like lowly shit, but like, you know, when developers will do stuff that pushes the line there, and it's like, okay, you're being skeezy. There were a couple of moments in that game that did push that line. But there's like that early aughts era of game design, especially with like JRPGs, you're gonna find that sort of a thing every once in a while, and it is unfortunately unavoidable. And that's not me forgiving it. Don't think that. But it's definitely in that like era of stuff that's like, okay, but do we completely ignore this property and everything that it has contributed, or do we make note of the fact that, like, yes, it contributed some great things, but also perpetuated some unfortunate ideas about things that were happening in the past? You know, I'm actually come to think of it, that's a great way of thinking about Cuphead as well, because while it doesn't intentionally perpetuate any of the racist stereotypes that plagued the rubber hose animation style, it does inevitably, you know, use those things, because the whole like white gloved look for those characters was based off of minstrelsy. It was a recognizable thing that audiences at the time would have been able to connect, that later became disassociated from it because we stopped doing those sorts of things for the most part. I shouldn't say we stopped doing it altogether, unfortunately, because dickbags and racist assholes do still exist. But, you know, I don't know, we do our best to get rid of those bad parts of old stuff. I don't know. Now I'm honestly considering getting rid of that soundtrack because of some of the baggage it has in my brain now. I don't know, that's just a weird thing that anime and JRPGs of a certain era just kind of did. Like, to a certain extent, there are cultural reasons for it, because, like, then you also have things like Crayon Shin-chan, which just, yeah, there certainly is little boy genitalia in that. And from a purely American standpoint, and, you know, and if it was child sexual assault material, that's not good. But when taken in the context that this is a show for little kids, and quite frankly, if you've ever been around little kids, they will just take their clothing off sometimes. Because they've been told not to, and they've been told that's naughty, and then they're just like, haha, I'm being naughty. And it's like, okay, child, please stop. Please stop doing that. You're being embarrassing. So, does that... I don't know, like, it feels like, okay, this is a piece of media that is meant to reflect the attitude of a child. How do we deal with that in a way that both respects that and also gets rid of predators and molesters and things? And I think that that's part of the reason why a lot of people struggle when it comes to media like that. Because it is formative, it is intended in an innocent way. So what you end up doing is punishing people who don't mean it in a bad way to try and get rid of the people who do mean it in a bad way. And there's a strong argument to be made for it. Well, then that means that everybody loses permission, unfortunately. Well, yeah, you can go that route. Let's see real quick. A moment away from my diatribe about media. Okay, oh, right. We can get rid of these supporting structures. And then again, we also have to contend with the fact that, like, the guy who made Samurai X is doing it again. And this man was caught with enough child pornography. You know what? I'm not even going to call it child pornography, child sexual assault material, because there's nothing pornographic about it. It is not what porn is supposed to be. And I will defend that fact because, like, holy shit. There is a difference. Let's see. Oh, wait, I can... Can I... Oh, I can put torches on the walls. Okay, that changes everything. But yeah, that guy was caught with so much CSAM that, like, they were thinking he was a distributor. And yet he gets to keep making series as is, you know? Wait, I've got a lot of heavy places in this particular episode. What the fuck is up today? Do I have any more posts? I do have some posts. So let's... Oh, hush, horse. There we go. Oh, and it's nighttime now. Now, am I the only person on the server at this point? I think I am. Oh, hello?
Mom, can you help me get a snack off the high shelf?
I mean, I can, sweetie, but aren't you taller than me at this point?
Yeah, but you have that grabby spell that I don't.
All right. Good point. Give me a moment. I'm gonna send us to a commercial break, and yeah, I'll come help you. All right. So, sorry about being a downer suddenly. I don't know. It's a happy topic in the media that we consume because, like, stuff that depicts things that could, in the wrong context, be wrong things, be terrible things, versus creators that are themselves doing these terrible things. The creator, obviously a monster. But then a completely unrelated series could be interpreted in a way that makes it feel like they're justified? I don't know. Anime and cartoons and just media in general is weird like that. We should be able to deal with heavy topics without, I don't know, like... We should be able to deal with heavy topics and talk about heavy things without fear of people taking us out of context. But at the same time, the way that we gain that permission to do that is by prosecuting those people who would do wrong through their media. That makes sense? Is that reasonable? I'll think about it while I'm away. Maybe we'll talk about it some more when I come back, maybe we won't. We'll figure it out on the other side. So stand up, stretch, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you on the other side of the commercials. Alright, let's find something for you. I know we had animal crackers earlier. Do you want another bag of those, or do you want something else? Alrighty, folks, we are back, and I just wanted to say sorry for letting my bit of my trauma work its way into that last segment. It is difficult to be someone who could even tangentially be described as a sex worker in the United States, and not have to engage, not. It's difficult to do that, and I mean, I could just stop my sentence there and say it's difficult to do that. But to then also be interacting with people are dealing with a lot of the controversies and what people with major political power have done in our time, and see the grace that they are given for demonstrably terrible things and treating children just monstrously, but then being told, oh, but you know, you who only sells a part of yourself voluntarily to willing and paying customers are a bad person, really messes with you. And it makes it hard to not talk about it, you know? Like, it becomes, at a certain point, a part of your personality, trying to justify that you exist, that you are doing something that makes you happy and makes you feel good and feel whole and all of those things, and that is different from the terrible abuse that is being done to others. I wish it wasn't that way. I wish there wasn't this sort of confusion in people's minds. But again, I'm going to try not to get back onto that because it's a really heavy subject. And again, this is not the best place to talk about it. So, let's figure out what we want to replace that cobble with in the roof. There's got to be something decorative we can do here. I kind of like the swirly stone. That's kind of nice. Let's see what that looks like. Actually, like, in place. Oh, okay, so interesting. The ceiling actually has a brick texture underneath it. So I may just want to go with the standard brick look. Yeah, I think I will. Oh, what in the world is that? Oh, that's a repair kit. Okay. Let's see. Where did that go? There did that go. So I'll swap it back over to being a brick. Then we can just start placing this. Me up. Hello, rabbit. Hello, boars. Brick orientation is going to be important here, I suppose. Oh, interesting. So no matter where we place this, the orientation is going to be the same. Oh. You get back in the inventory. Oi. Me up. Me up. Oh. I really am slouching a lot today. Again, part of it is just that, like, I slept wrong last night and the muscle between my shoulder blades is real sore. It's not exactly cramped, but it makes it hard to stand up straight, which is hoping that my workout routine later is going to help with. Because it's a workout day. Much to my chagrin. Ow. I mean, I suppose I should take this opportunity to go pick everything up that I've been knocking down. Around. Alright, so we're at a point where we can start filling in this gap, or I should say, I guess continue filling in this gap. Oh, that's not what I wanted at all. Okay, sassy music, I didn't need that. Music thinks it's smart. I do love it when there is, like, happenstance timing like that. It's a lot of fun. Oh, Lamplighters League was a lot of fun. There's another game that didn't get the time of day. Like, I really wish that HPG had... or HBS, excuse me, had gotten to advertise and support that game the way that they wanted to and the way that their studio is good at doing. But Microsoft fucks everything up, as per usual. Well, you know, like, oh, well, you know, we're bigger software developers, and we've been operating for decades, and so, you know, obviously we know what's best, even though we operate in a completely different sphere of influence. We own you now, so we're obviously the ones who get to say what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. Thanks, Microsoft. You just ruined a perfectly good release. And damaged a good company's reputation in the meanwhile. Dang it. There we go. Actually, I shouldn't even say good company. Decent company. Does that make a little more sense? Like, I'm not going to be here and like lick any corporate capitalist boots, but I don't know. HBS seemed like an okay place to work. I made a lot of games that had good social messages too, so you know, that's always nice. Is we're playing Shadowrun Dragonfall right now, which did start off as a mod campaign first, but then they hired the person who made the mod and elevated it into a full-blown game all on its own. Now, obviously, there's some capitalistic intentions behind that because it did make HPS some money, but between the social messages present in Dragonfall and the stuff that they said in Hong Kong, I feel like we know pretty well how they feel about stuff, you know? And that is generally in a positive way. That tries to treat people well. I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into it. Maybe I am choking on that corporate lung, as it were. Oh. Well, I think that's the roofing project done, actually. We still have access to natural space up on top. Next. We do now have nice roofed area. We can honestly be pretty proud of. Ow, my knees. You know what? I'm gonna go take a look at it from a distance. I'm gonna avoid that spider while I do it. Okay, so I got some supporting structures that I need to get rid of. And I could add more of those columns, couldn't I? Plus I need to add torches around the walls. Well, you know what? Let's do the torches first, because that's going to give us an idea of where we should add the supporting structures. who installed the mail system? I appreciate them, whoever they are. And I'm glad to have it. I just want to know whose handiwork it was, you know? I see you out there, Spooter. You stay away. Now, should I do torches on both the inside and the outside, or just be on the outside? Feel like I should probably do them on the inside and the outside. Just for the sake of safety, plus that helps illuminate the interior a little bit better. Oh, you're such a cute little guy. Hello, Hans. How are you doing? Torch 1, 2, 3. Torch 1, 2, 3. Torch 2, 3. Torch. Oh, and I'm now out of torches. Okay, so I now have to actually go make more torches. Ooh, you know what I could do? For the interior, we could do them on the walls a little bit less often, but just make sure that there are torches down here all over the place. Yeah, let's just go ahead and craft all of these. Oh. Because torches are one of those things that you can never really have too many of them, you know? Well, we're gonna run out of tree sap. That's fine though. That'll free up a little bit of storage too. And we are gonna have torches forever. There we go. Alrighty, so let's get to it. One, two, three, torch. 1, 2, 3, torch. 1, 2, 3, torch. 3, torch. 1, 2, 3, and then that would be a torch there. So then, what if we do them every 4 up here then? I should say every 5. We were already doing them every 4. 2, 3, 4, torch. 1, 2, 3, 4, torch. 1, 2, 3, 4, torch. 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 Okay, nope, that didn't work either. There we go. Okay, so every 5 then perhaps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, torch. 2, 3, 4, 5, torch. 2, 3, 4, 5, and torch. 2, 3, 4, 5, torch. 2, 3, 4, 5, torch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. I see you down there. Go away. So what this tells me is that I need to actually do the torches every 7. Or, well, every 8 if I want to have them evenly distributed on this wall. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, torch. 2, 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 3, 4, 5. Hang on a minute. Math ain't mathin'. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, torch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, torch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, torch. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, torch. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, torch. And now we have 2 left. I suppose what I could do is actually count the number of blocks on this wall. And do some math about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39. Okay, well that explains why that's not breaking up properly then. This has got to be Demon School soundtrack, hasn't it? Yeah, it is. It has a distinct vibe. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, just because I didn't feel like doing the math again, set torches at my normal distance. Now I'm going to remove every other torch. And that'll hopefully look good. Alright, let's do the same thing going from here as well. Yeah, that should look good all the way around. 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Torch. 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 And now we do the every other thing. So, eh. I see you out there. Yeah, that's what I thought. You know what? I just realized I probably should have been recording this locally. Because I know that Twitch has been having issues lately. Alrighty, so that's actually going to finish up our outer ring. Nice. Nicely done, us. I think I'm going to go ahead and set up torches at every corner. And I'll grab a larger stack this time. Oh, wait a minute. Just realized I can get rid of these. And then... there. That now matches the other spaces. That... Let's see if we can go downstairs and sleep and get another look at this. See all the work we've done today. Oh. So let's get a good look here. We have done a whole heck of a lot of roofing. We've undermined certain areas really thoroughly. We do need to add better supports for the roof all along the outer wall. Got good lighting, so hopefully that'll help further discourage any more spawns, because we did find that spider in the horse area earlier. Thought this area was well enough lit, but you know, we'll see. These things happen. And yeah, otherwise I feel like this is a good place to leave the project for the day. I am gonna go ahead and let's head back over to the corner here. Grab another screenshot real quick. Oh. Wait, what was the... Whoa, no, that's not what I wanted to do. I accidentally found the screenshot button the last time we were playing. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out off stream. But we're cutting it close to another commercial break, so I'd rather send you all off somewhere else to maybe continue with a little more Hytale, maybe see somebody else. But basically, I want to make sure that y'all get some more entertainment. Whew. Well, stream got a little bit heavy there for a little while. Life has been a little heavy for me recently, so I hope y'all will forgive me for that. But I hope you did enjoy your time here at the Come and Go, at the very least. Let's see. Ooh, Ogre Daddy is streaming right now. What is Against the Storm? Oh, Against the Storm is one of those, like, base building games. Yeah, let's go ahead and send you on over there. So, let's see. Thank you very much for stopping by, Weary Travelers. Again, hope you enjoyed my stream, even if I did get a little bit heavy for a little while. I will be back on Friday, February 20th, with Final Fantasy VII. We finished up the last session having crashed through a roof into a flower bed that was indoors for some reason. If you know Final Fantasy VII's original thing, you know we're about to meet and deal with Aerith a little bit further, but I don't know how that's going to go, since we're in another timeline now. I'm sure there's nothing odd about any of this. Anyway, until Friday, for more information about future streams, keep an eye on our Blue Sky at Come and Go Tavern for announcements and daily check-ins from the Come and Go. I've been your hostess, Sheela Ornthalis, and if you need to prop your feet up for a little while longer, we've got some more entertainment coming up soon via a raid. So I will see you all over on Ogre Daddy's channel. Ta-ta for now. Bye. 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 Bye.